Hey, how's it going? I'm here actually working the first night on what's going to be like a full week marathon. I'm working on my new solo album. Um, can't tell you a whole lot about it yet. There is one song really in the works here, and and that's not the one I'm working on right now. There's actually one that's been in the works for a couple months, so I should probably say it more like that. Um, Looks like there's probably about 5 or 6 tracks that I'm working with right now. I'm working on one that I actually just started the other day upon getting my new PRS 7 string. It's used right now. As you can see, I'm working on the bass part for this right now, but I thought I've been holding out for a 9 string, but I decided to get this 7 string the other day. It was just kind of staring at me. And I was, thinking, a 9 string would be really cool because I have some really amazingly awesome things planned for it. But when I really thought about it a little more, I think that this would be a much more practical purchase. So I decided to go with it. I actually traded out a really nice acoustic guitar, which was really hard to let go of. But upon getting this, since there's no Floyd Rose, unlike many of pretty much all my 7 strings. Actually, this is my only 7 string that does not have a floating tremolo. This will allow me to change my tunings really quick. So I'm kind of messing around with some E flat right now because I'm almost like always tuned to E standard. So I figured today I'll mess around with a little bit of a riff that I was coming up with the other day, and so I'm working on some bass parts for that now. I'm waiting for these bass strings to snap. My confession here is that these bass strings, they're like 9 years old now. I got this bass in 2007 used, and these are the strings that whoever owned it before put on it. So any minute now they're gonna snap, but I've recorded all of my albums that have bass on it with this bass and my other one, which is from 2004 with the strings in the same exact condition. So any second now they're gonna die. Let me put this back. All right, so I'm working on a little bit of bass. I'm really trying to make myself use fingers for this kind of stuff. I'll admit I kind of suck with the fingers, so I always kind of keep this around. This is my favorite bass pick. I don't even know what the hell it is anymore. I forget. I think it was Dunlop, but it's certainly 2 millimeters, and it's pretty huge. Otherwise, I've been using, for guitar, lately I've been using this specific Swiss pick. Wait. Yep. This one right here. This Swiss pick I've been using since February. Whoop, there it is. Haha. Okay, and I'm purposely using this one over and over and over again for months now. So about 4.5 months in, and I'm just really testing just to see how long it takes to wear down the tip. And it's really not bad. It's doing pretty well considering. Here, I'll put it next to a newish one. It's been used a couple times, but no wear at all. All right, so the one closer to you is the newer one. You can see it's a little pointier. It's probably blurry too, but the other one behind it is rounded. That's the one I've been using for 4.5 months. It's really not bad. Having used the Dunlop picks for quite a while now, Jazz 3s, they do kind of flatten out after a while. I think I actually have one here. This one's not too old, but it's already started to flatten out a little bit. So this is an old Jazz 3 that I've had for some time. I don't have any unused ones, but this wears down so much quicker. So I'm pretty much sold on these. These are awesome. This is the 1.3 millimeters Sharp Cheddar Jazz Mini. So anyway though, bass. Really trying not to use it on this song. I'm probably going to end up using the bass. I'm probably going to use a pick on this. I don't know. I'm a guitar player, my songs need bass, so I put it in there. But this time around, I'm keeping it at a pace. I'm not really shredding on bass, so it's not something I'm going to worry too much about. I'll just write something I actually can play. Novel idea, right? So kind of working on a bass line right now for something I just started tonight. This is just a riff that I just dreamed up before I went to bed a couple nights ago, and finally got around to recording it today. But let's see how this goes. Anyway, it's a little peek into my writing style. I just make shit up, and if it works, I keep it, and if I don't like it, then I'll find the part where I don't like it and back up a little bit, and I'll punch in, and I don't have to really worry about how to play this right away. I have all the time in the world, because no one's even heard it yet by the time I really decide that's how it goes, and so I got a little while to work out exactly how to play it. As long as I can actually play it the first time and I like it, I'm pretty much going to keep it. I basically like the writing style of improvise, harmonize, and then fix all the shit that I fucked up the first time. Especially if I'm doing the two guitar lines. It's pretty much how I work both of those. Because, you know, like I said, I don't need to know how to play this yet. I've got however long I want, really. As long as it comes out sounding the way I want the experience to be, that's pretty much it. So like right now I don't even know how well you were able to hear that, right? You know, in the room it's actually not all that loud, but I actually have the second guitar muted right now because I'm not really thrilled with it. I think that the main riff was pretty cool. That's what I started with, but so far messing with harmonies, well, I have the basic idea, so I'm not even going to worry too much about it. Let's see, what else? I don't know if there's much else I can say. Actually, the beat is like extremely simple. That's one of the other things I really like to do when I write is I keep a extremely ridiculously simple drum beat in there. I write my riff and then I'll go back and I'll actually tailor the drum beat. So right now I'm just using EZdrummer with a really basic kick snare thing going on at 126 beats per minute, and it's that way I can hear where the beats are. I can hear where the main beats of the measures are usually. I don't even think I bothered putting the crash cymbals on the initial things here on the measure lines. But let's see. I think I had a mouse around here too, so I can unmute that bass. But yeah, it's kind of coming together. But basically, that's what I'm going to be doing all week. This is sort of how I'm going to celebrate my birthday, which was yesterday. But I kind of got a jump start on that on Saturday night, even. No, Sunday, sometime this weekend, because I've been planning this, you know, for probably a couple months. I have actually one song that's actually a couple minutes in already. That's the most progress right now. Tentatively, that song is called Doubt. This is going to be a lot more of a doom album. I'm going to be doing clean vocals on this one. It's not going to be death metal. That's pretty much what Also Noof is about, even though really I have done clean vocals on Also Noof as well, but in this case, I am going to be, yeah, I will. Thanks. I will play. I promise. I'm gonna actually go back to the PRS in a moment, but right now I'm just laying down tracks. How's it going, Alley Cat? Sorry, I'm over here rambling. Thanks everybody for tuning in here. Yeah, I'll go be grabbing the PRS again soon, and probably solo a little bit. Because I think I'm at a point with this particular song where I'm going to probably have to go in with MIDI. This is kind of how a lot of the composition goes when I write with Todespondent, and it's just easier to go in with MIDI and like strings or something like that sometimes, and plan out my melodies. Because basically it's like once I get a really cool riff, I'm sure anybody here who's ever tried writing a song gets to a point where like, all right, I got a cool riff. Then what? So I'm probably going to go ahead and take the MIDI and just do some basic strings patch or a piano patch or something like that, and kind of really flesh out the different parts of this song. So anyway, yeah, that's kind of it right now. I'll go ahead and I'm going to do a redo on the second guitar for you now. And using, you can't see it from here, but this is the right angle one of my trusty Intex cables. They fucking rock. Get some if you don't have them. And hang on, let's retire the bass for a moment. All right. Yes. Back to the Swiss picks. Yeah, what was really nice about this too, by the way, I had no idea what I was getting into. It just played really nice and it sounded kick-ass through what was even actually a rather low gain amp. Thanks, Bennett. These actually turned out to be bare knuckle pickups, which is really kick-ass considering that between my trade-in value for my other guitar and the $150 in actual cash that I paid for this, these pickups are like $300. So I actually made out really well. Because altogether, this guitar usually turns out to be about $720. And then you get these, which is like another $300. So over $1,000 in guitar value here, and I paid $150. So happy birthday to me for sure. All right, so let's go ahead and let's replace this shitty electric guitar part that I'm not really thrilled with, the second guitar part. Let's see how I do with a 2 count. Sometimes I do a 0 count, but I don't think I'm going to try that right this moment. Oh yeah, that. You're probably going to hear some of that. That's something I struggle with a lot because there's a lot of plugins already loaded on here. So if you hear that really terrible static, yeah, it's really fucking annoying. But it's my computer choking on its it's trying to gasp for resources here. Oh, running over my cable here. All right, so I'm gonna probably just double the other guitar and do some slight harmonies here because I think I'm more sold on the original idea. So let's give it a shot. Right there. So as long as I can actually do that, I'll figure out what I did, which is not going to be that hard to do, but thanks, man. I'm probably going to just double that and probably throw in some layers. One thing I really like to do, especially, I'll probably do this on like a possibly a lead guitar. Right now I've got it set to sidechain compression, which is going to automatically turn down the rhythm guitars a little bit for the leads. It's just a little thing I finally decided to look up how to do it. And finally I don't have to sit here and meticulously agonize over exactly how much to turn down each guitar moment to moment, so it's a little bit easier for for me to not pull my hair out. So more than likely that's probably a keeper because I'm just not even, you know, I'll figure it out because I'm going to listen to this over and over until I go insane and figure out the little moments that I hate and can't stand anymore, and that's how I'm going to pick all the little shit out that no one would want to hear. That's basically how that's my writing style. But you know, that's a little peek into what I'm doing right now. This is just one song, and the way I generally do, I only have like one song that I'm definitely going to put on this album. So I'm just going to keep cranking out material all week. At the same time, I'm also sort of going to be practicing writing songs in an extremely short amount of time. So I'm hoping to get maybe 2 songs a day done, which I'm going easy on, but I am also actually sort of preparing for a guitar clinic coming up in August at the Guitar and Bass Expo. If you're anywhere on the East Coast, it's worth a road trip. I suggest going in and attending that. It's actually a really great boutique gear show, but I'm actually also going to be doing a guitar clinic there for Shred Mentor on how to write a song in a very short amount of time. So part of this is also practice for being able to write in an extremely short amount of time, even just a rough recorded version of a song that will obviously need to be worked out and cleaned up and properly recorded and produced, but something that is a listenable full-length song, because basically I got 1 hour to do that clinic, and I've done a class with Shred Mentor a couple of different times now where I basically write a full song in 1 hour. It's not like an extremely technical, song, so it's not, it's almost a pop song. It's basically metal with a pop song structure. But the thing is, this is the kind of song where it's going to be, more memorable kinds of melodies, and also kind of just pulling a solo out of my ass on the spot, which the better you improvise, the better you can do that, and kind of do it on one take. So that's kind of the thing I try to get people to do is just get in there and record, save some of those lucky accidents. If you did it, whether you meant to do it or not, if you pressed record, you can say I did that, and hey, it's yours. Nobody can take your musical accidents from you, and if they sound really cool, you should fucking keep them. It doesn't matter whether you meant to do it. Figure out what you did later, figure out how those go together, and you can actually make that sound again anytime you want. Oh, no problem, man. Thanks for tuning in, Bennett. I appreciate it, man. Thanks, Keith, by the way. Sorry, I'm behind on stuff. Thank you, David. I appreciate all that. So, yeah, so I'm going to basically be, I'm doing this also to prepare for that. I'm going to be doing a lot of that also, because ultimately I need to get my writing down to a half an hour. I've done the class before where I can write a song in 1 hour, but I really need to shrink that down so that I have the other half an hour to explain what I'm doing as I do it, and also take some questions at the end. So, like I said, that's the Guitar and Bass Expo. That's in Pennsylvania. It's at the Inn at Reading. So it's roughly Reading, PA. I think it's Wyomissing. I hope I'm saying that right. But it's free attendance this year. So if you are on the East Coast at all, I definitely recommend taking the road trip out there if you're not that close. But seriously, it kicks major ass. I was this is the 3rd annual Guitar and Bass Expo. I was actually at last year's. I missed the first one, but it was really awesome. It's a smaller thing, but it's again, it's really more about boutique instruments. And there's just a lot of really cool people there, and badass instruments too. So definitely go and check it out, and hopefully stick around throughout the day. It's a 1-day event, so it's not, don't miss it. It is on Saturday, August 20th. Yeah, that's a good point. They got away with it, so yeah, definitely. I might as well just take that. I'll just do a descending line from A. Oh, an A flat today. Yep. So I'll throw that in there, and I'll just harmonize it differently. Yeah, thank you. I'm going to do that, James. So, yeah, so pretty much that's just a little peek into what I'm doing. This is pretty much, I'm going to just shackle my ankle to the desk here so that I don't procrastinate, because as much as I love to write, sometimes I'm like, I want to get up and I want to have I want a finished song so damn badly that I want to just listen to the clip I've got. And so I get up and put my instrument down, and then I end up not really cranking it out. So this is an exercise for me to stay focused also, and then keep myself in the habit, and also remind me of myself of some of those things that I've learned over a couple of years. The tricks that I've used to really write when I don't have time to fuck around. Basically, that's kind of getting back into this, because I've allowed myself a lot of time to just fuck around, and that's gonna have to stop because I got an album to crank out here. So, um, that's pretty much it. Let's see what we got so far. It's really short, so I only got riff number 1, and then it's time to get in there with the MIDI. And I'm not gonna do that live. That's just gonna bore the shit out of you. It's just gonna be me going like this for hours. So I'll skip that part and show you the finished product when it's done. Part of it, at least. So. Strings or choir. That's where the vocals are going to go, I think. Yeah, sorry, it's all breaking up here again. Once again, it's I have to constantly adjust the buffer on my sound card so that it can actually handle tracking, although it still can't handle tracking because it's cracking up and shit. So I'm going to crank the buffer up so it can actually handle the actual plugins. But yeah, so that's sort of what I'll do, is just go back and listen, and yep, choir or strings there, vocals after the little solo run there. Decide whether I really want to try to actually have like a vocals chorus over that initial riff. It's always, I like to basically just pick the structure I want, and then I can just kind of fill in the slots for the song. And you know, and there's always the bridge, so I can get however progressive I want with it, and you know, because I can just throw an entire structure into that as well. Even if that structure is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and so on, the entire alphabet as a structure. But yeah, so far, got a little bit going with this song. I actually did some vocals already for one of the other ones for the song Doubt, which and there's no tentative title for this album just yet. Really, the concepts are coming together, but a lot more in terms of doom, though. I think I want to explore more with doom in this particular case. So, and doom is a broad thing, I'm aware. So I'm not really talking stoner doom, but it's not going to be death doom either. I guess it would be sort of the music of what you would get with death doom, but I'm not going to do death vocals on this album. I do that with Old Sonoof all the time. And I didn't even bother putting any clean vocals whatsoever on the last Old Sonoof. So there is actually one song that was a candidate for the last Old Sonoof album that's probably going to be on this one too. It's a very much a melodic doom kind of thing, but a little bit of a Catatonia influence. So yeah, the interesting key changes is going to be a really big part of this this album. In this case, this is the most I've stayed in one key for probably all the material so far. But let's see what else we've got. I'm going to close this one for now because this is just something that I wanted to record tonight so I don't forget. Oh, cool. My program crashed. So anyway, let's see about, a good thing I press save after I do every single thing. Let's go ahead and dig into the archive a little bit here and give you a little taste of what else there is. Go to my little secret link here. Sometimes I'll use SoundCloud as my way of listening to this stuff when I'm out. It's not up there, so don't trouble yourself looking for it. But got it in my unreleased albums section here. Doubt, yes. So